Hi guys, it is I, Pi, and welcome to my video. So today, as you can see from my thumbnail, I have two new swords. And why do I have two swords? Because if you didn't know about me, I'm actually a very big game and anime fan. And those two swords, if you can recognize them, are from Sword Art Online. They are both Kirito's first two swords in Season 1. And they are the Repulser and Elucidator. So why do I have these swords? I do actually collect weapons. I do have a few other weapons from some other games. And I do have them mounted inside one of my rooms. And I've been looking to expand my collection. So I've actually been rewatching Sword Art Online. And I just really fell in love with the two swords. And I thought, why not just get them? There's actually something really special about these swords, and no, I'm not talking about the fact that they're Sword Art Online swords, but I'm talking about the fact that they are special swords in general. And I'll just definitely go through them as we go through this video, so just keep watching. So here are the two swords and Elucidator as Dark Repulsor. So these are actually really heavy, and if you want to know why, let me just start with the Elucidator. So here's what the sword looks like. And so yes, you may be wondering what's so special about this sword. And this sword is made out of metal. So basically it is a real sword in its sense. It's made out of carbon steel, and it can actually be sharpened, but I wouldn't really want to because I'm not here to use it as a weapon. It's mostly a collectibles item. The sword is metal, but the sheath itself is, I think it's plastic. So yes, this part is of type of foam grip. The tape, as in the internal part is also metal or wood. I'm not actually sure, but the entire blade itself is metal. It has been polished already to prevent rust, and I don't think you can tell how blunt the edge is actually right now. I could definitely run my finger across the blade and it wouldn't actually cut. The tip itself is a bit more pointed though. It's also not sharpened, this one. The other sword is a bit more sharp. So yeah, this sword is actually pretty heavy, and I try not to carry it with one hand because I'm not very stable with it. But I can definitely still lift it up with one hand. But I mostly try to use my both hands to hold and support it up. I am super obsessed with this. I'm so happy that it's a real sword. I don't know why, it just makes it so much more special. And it is my first real sword. I do not have any other swords that is made out of metal. The rest of them are made out of wood for me. I do actually intend and hopefully would like to buy more metal swords in the future, but we shall see. So yep, hopefully I can get more metal swords, but yep, this is one of them for now. I can show you my other one right now. So my other sword, which is here, the Dark Repulsor. So this sheath, if you notice, is not the original anime one. The Dark Repulsor does not actually have its own sheath in the anime because Kirito does not sheath this sword as much. He just pulls it out from his inventory and uses it straight away. He does not carry it around. So yes, it is also real. It's also metal. It's carbon steel. And it is quite heavy. So the thing about this one, on the other hand, it's a bit sharper than the Elucidator. And they actually gave a tip guard for this sword because the tip is quite sharp. So the one thing about this sword is, because it is carbon steel, it's definitely starting to rust quite a bit, sadly. I think I should polish it a bit more and try to stop it from rusting. I think the tip guard is what's making it rust. But yep, I definitely have to get some mineral oil to actually polish this again and keep it rust free. But with Singapore's humidity, rust is definitely going to be happening. So my fingertips already have a bit of rust on them, but that's fine. This sword, when it arrived, it did have some issues. And I was okay with it because the issues wasn't that major. they just mentioned to me that there was some marks on the tip. So they actually polished it for me, but now that it's starting to rust again, I definitely have to polish it once again. But it's fine. I'm still okay with it. I just need to like coat it with a bit better mineral oil. I feel like right now it's not even oiled. I think the oil has definitely like got wiped off as I keep like unsheathing and sheathing the sword. So yeah, this tip is quite sharp. That's why they gave a tip guard, because if not, it would definitely poke through the leather sheath. So yep, here's what it looks like. It is also quite heavy. It's a bit more sharp. So I'm gonna definitely sheath this back right now. So my intention for this is actually to wall mount them to similar to all my other weapons and props. I actually mounted them to my wall. I'm definitely going to do the same to this. I'm just like a bit concerned about the weight and whether it will be able to be supported on the wall. But for now, I haven't bought the wall mount yet, so I have not mounted it on the wall. It's just been sitting on the floor. I may actually consider getting the sword stand instead to actually stand up the sword on the floor. Not sure yet. I'll show you once I get it. So stay tuned for that. So otherwise, let me just talk a bit about where I got these swords. So if you're from Singapore, you would know that carrying weapons in Singapore is actually quite illegal, or actually controlled in some ways. Firearms is strictly not allowed, and other type of weapons like pepper spray is also not allowed. You may be wondering, what if I need pepper spray for my own personal protection? You do not. Singapore is actually fairly safe, and we've never had any issues that has led to us needing pepper spray. Pepper spray is controlled in Singapore. Only certain institutions are allowed to use it, such as, of course, the police in the case of riots. Otherwise, personal protection, you're not allowed to carry... Well, if you're not even allowed to carry knives for personal protection, there's no reason to. And if you are caught carrying a knife, it's actually not for... You wouldn't be seen as carrying it for protection. You'll be actually seen as carrying a weapon with the intention to cause harm. So yes, that is an arrestable offense in Singapore. So you may be asking, on the other hand, what about props? Like if I was a cosplayer and I wanted to carry metal swords, how would that work? I would highly discourage that. If you're a cosplayer, do not carry metal swords to conventions. Do not carry metal swords out onto public transport. It is not allowed. You should technically be either getting a foam or a wood replica instead, and you can definitely use that at a convention. Metal swords, on the other hand, should just be kept at home for collecting purposes only. You can sharpen the swords in Singapore. That's actually legal. But if you're like me and I do not have any reason why I should sharpen the sword, I would not actually sharpen the swords. As I've not mentioned yet, I actually got this from a local company in Singapore. The shop, if anybody in Singapore is watching this, you would know it is from Caesars. Caesars is a shop that sells swords from all sorts of game, movies, and anime. And they do sell some foam swords, some wooden swords as well, I think. But majority of their like swords or weapons, they actually sell other kind of weapons too. It's not just swords. Are actually metal, carbon steel to be exact. To buy from them, you could definitely walk into their shop. Their shop is at Plaza Sing, or Plaza Singapura to be exact. You can walk in, you can browse their shops, you can have a look. I personally bought this online because I definitely wanted it shipped to me. I didn't actually want to carry this sword all the way back, and I was just browsing online one day looking for the swords, and I just chanced upon the fact that Caesar Singapore actually sells these swords. So I thought, can I just buy it? And here's the thing, I bought it on I think like 31st May or somewhere end of May. And to buy a sword from Caesar, you actually do have to submit your identity card and register yourself as owning weapons in Singapore. It is part of the, I would say it's part of the law that controls these swords. So yes, I actually did hand over my a scanned copy of my NRIC, which is a National Registration Identity Card in Singapore, for them to register the fact that I own these two swords in Singapore. And of course, it's just a one-time process, so if I do actually buy from Caesar again in the future, they already have my records, and therefore I can just buy without submitting my documentation. They reached out to me over email to ask for my NRIC, and I gave it to them. They got back to me really fast, like within the day itself, and She, the person that attended to me online was so nice. She's such a sweet lady. She actually called me multiple times to talk about the swords because, as I've mentioned, there were some issues with the Dark Repulsor, with the fact that their shipment of the Dark Repulsor has a bit of issues where there was some marks on the tip, as she mentioned. And she said, I asked her how bad is the marks, and she said it's actually not that bad, but it's something that they should still highlight to their customers, so that we can consider it, and if we don't want it, they can just return and refund the order. I said, honestly, I'll refund even if it has marks. I'm mainly using it as a collection, and I mean, hanging on the wall is still gonna attract dust and dirt, and it's not gonna remain perfect forever. I do understand the limitations of also owning metal swords in Singapore is that humidity is gonna make it rust, and I have to definitely take care of this quite well. So yes, as you can see, the swords already started rusting. I was okay with that, but she insisted that when they deliver the swords, which they use their own personal fleet of drivers to deliver the swords, she said that once a delivery man came, he's going to actually take out and show me the sword, and I can actually like see and make my own judgment first, and if I don't want it, the driver will just take it with him and she will just issue the refund respectively. So I was like, okay, sure, since you insist, I will actually take up on that offer. Also, another thing that she let me know was that the day I ordered these swords was just one day prior to them starting their June sale. And she said she actually asked her management if they could extend the sale pricing to me. These two swords was actually going to be on sale after the very next day. And management was like, yeah, sure. So she actually extended the sale to me and actually refunded me the difference in price. So I bought this for 189 each Singapore dollars. And I think the sale price was $60 off, so it became 129 each. And she just refunded me the money with no issues once I saw both the swords and actually said, okay, I'll take it. And the very next day, she just refunded me the money. And it was just really nice of her because technically they have no obligation to do so because I did buy it outside of the sale price. It is my fault in essence. But they were just very kind and generous to extend the sale price to me, and I was super appreciative of it. Thereafter, I can't remember if she called me again after that and just checked up on me. But she did actually liaise with me through emails to just check that everything was alright, and she just updated me that the refund was already being processed. So overall, just say that the customer service was just so nice, so sweet. They just really went out of their way to ensure that like this whole process of buying the swords, receiving the swords was just super good. Like I would just say like 10 out of 10 customer service. Just had a really nice time shopping with them. Couldn't recommend them enough. It's so smooth. Everything just went super well. And they just really went out of their way to just make sure that I was a really happy customer. I definitely would be buying more swords from them in the future. I'm just waiting to see if I want to get more Kirito's sword. They do have a few more other swords from Kirito, like the Blue Rose sword, as well as can't remember the one that's called the Stars something. So yeah, I don't know whether I want to collect it, but these two is just my favorite right now. I may even get Asuna's sword, I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't think I've forgotten anything, but if you have any other questions about buying from Caesars as well as the entire process of it, just leave me a comment down below and I'll get back to you on that. But I highly recommend them. Please do check them out. They're amazing. The quality of the swords is great. Yes, they do rust and you do have to take care of them, but that comes with every single metal sword. Do take care of them. If you can't take care of them, do not buy a high maintenance sword. Just get a wood or a foam replica instead. I highly recommend wood as a second alternative because wood is very low maintenance and it's quite good, but first it doesn't look as real as a metal sword, and nothing will actually look as real as a metal sword because that's what's real. Let me know your thoughts below, and otherwise I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!